Hello and welcome. You're watching Closing Trades here on ET Now. I'm Harsh Saita. Let's look at what the Nifty is doing. A fifth of a percent higher where the Nifty is concerned. We're again in a very, very narrow band is what we're trading in. Just about 100 points is what the Nifty has traded in, high to low, and we're closer to the highs than the lows. We're at we've sustained above 26k at least for some part of today, if I can call it that. But we slipped to a low of 25,924. At the low point, as you can see on your screen. Let's talk about sectors, and the Nifty Bank has been surprisingly and well resilient, and it mirrors the Nifty in terms of the stock chart, at least today. We're again sitting at close to the day's highs, intraday highs, where the Nifty Bank is also concerned. Let's talk about the Nifty IT index, because that was the key area of support yesterday and day before yesterday. We've seen a bit of a slip up there, and what we're seeing, or rather last week as well as yesterday, and 0.5% lower is what we're seeing on the Nifty IT index. Now the constituent seeing some pain, and that seems to be reflecting on the index. Let's talk about some of those names. Infosys, Wipro, TCS, among the larger names, are all down 0.5% plus in trade, and that is reflecting on the index. Within the Nifty pack, some of the gainers, BEL is doing very well for itself, 2% higher, and some of the defense counters again coming to the fore today. SBI is the other one which is doing well, silently climbing 1.8%. Hindalco doing well. Bajaj Auto, DRL are just some of the movers of today. DRL, mind you, getting authorization from the European Commission for one of its key drugs in osteoporosis, and that is the reason why you're seeing what you're seeing on a DRL up 1.5% in trade. Let's talk about on the broader end, at the broader end, what some of the indices are doing. The Nifty mid cap largely in line with the Nifty 50 index, and so is the Nifty small cap, but a flattish kind of move on the Nifty small cap index, and these have been relatively more resilient today than the Nifty 50 index. Especially the mid cap has been in the green for pretty much all of the day, and a better part of the day for the Nifty small cap as well. So those are some of the key trends which are playing out. Let's talk about two standout sectors today. The Nifty PSU Bank 1.3% higher. The Nifty Realty Index, that too is 1.3% higher. So those two doing very well in trade. The Nifty Metal also standing out 0.5% higher. Within the Realty pack, well, plenty of movers and good ones. Raymond 3.5% higher. Brigade is doing well, 3.5% as well on a Brigade. Anant Raj, Phoenix Mills, Prestige are just some of the others again which have stood out and done well in trade today. In fact, even the Nifty PSU banking pack, again, some good movers. Bank of Maharashtra up 2%. SBI, the large cap, contributing well to that index. So the Nifty PSU bank also doing fairly well for itself and in focus. Let's talk about some stocks which are doing well on the back of news. Transformers and Rectifiers India on the back of an order win, up nearly 6%. Apollo Micro is up 4%, again on the back of an order win coming through. Some of the defense names are doing well. I spoke about BEL being the top gainer on the Nifty, and even within the defense pack, that one is doing surprisingly well. Sobha is holding up fairly well for itself, and so is an Acme Solar on the back of that order win. Premier Explosives is the other one, and Zentec on the back of news, where both of those are also holding up well. In terms of key losers, Siemens Energy, from the bottom, it's obviously done okay. The gain from the low is around 2.5%, but it's still down 2.3% in intraday trade today. So, Siemens Energy is one of those. Eris on the back of that acquisition is down 1% as well. So those are just some of the other movers in trade. In terms of the breadth, and here is where it gets interesting. The breadth is largely even Steven. Despite the very, very flat move on the index. So that too is something that we'll keep our eye out on. But Kunal, the move on the index, what's your assessment of today? And can we build on to what we're seeing today? And what do you expect in terms of the expiry move? Actually, don't talk to me about whether we can build on this. Let's talk about the next 1.5 hours. What does the expiry move look like, at least today, in your opinion?
You know, it's a good, so good afternoon, Harsh.
Good afternoon.
I think it's a good day for the indices, and this indicates that the market participants are taking the November expiry or the end of the November expiry and the start of the December expiry with a slight positive bias, because you don't see the markets being on tenterhooks like what they were yesterday and day before. You know, yesterday there was a lot of edgy kind of a price action. You saw the index succumbing back towards the 26,000 mark on the downside. We managed to break below those key support levels. Today the start was a little bit on the patchy side for the indices, but net we've still managed to hold on to that 26,000 levels for the index. The premiums for the index futures in the in the next month so far, I think, have been at par, which means especially over the last, compared to over the last couple of expiries. And the last couple of expiries, we've seen that the tone for the market has been on the bullish side. So that also gives maybe an indication that the market participants are going in with more long rollovers for index as well as for individual stocks. But I think what's the better highlight for the markets today is, after 5 days of a negative market breadth, so far we are seeing the market breadth to be on the positive side. We have more stocks advancing as compared to declines. So that could probably be an indication that we are looking at some sort of a floor reaching for the overall market breadth. And the last point, which is very, very interesting, is we've not managed to break below the previous yesterday's low for the index. Had that happened, that could probably have invited more selling pressure, but we've managed to protect yesterday's low for the index. So that's, I believe, one of the reasons why I would believe that the market should see a swing back on the upside.
Okay, a swing back on the upside. Which sectors will lead that, in your opinion, Kunal?
See, strongly believe that banks have to play a very critical and a very pivotal role over here. So maintaining that stance that banking stocks in the banking index would be one of the more prominent and the formidable ones. The financial services pocket, X of banks, of course, we were discussing L&T Finance, AB Capital, etc. These stocks have done phenomenally well today. That's another pocket which I believe looks fairly attractive even at current levels. There is some sort of reprieve or respite coming back into the auto names, and that's the third formidable sector which is now making a comeback for itself. And remember, I think the entire rally started off in August, September on the back of the confidence which the markets exuded in the auto sector names. So these stocks making a comeback should have a very strong positive effect in the overall market sentiment. And then there are some traces of short covering which are emerging in the other underperforming sectors, whether it's pharma, whether it's realty, etc. So that could be other positive which the market should be taking forward.
Okay, some stocks which are buzzing, and Rabinder standing by with that list. Rabinder, what do you have on your list?
Whereas on the back of the order win, Zentec is in focus in today's trading session. When company has received a domestic order worth of rupees 108 crore from the Ministry of Defence for supply of simulators, and the order to be executed within a year. Apart from this, Apollo Micro is also in focus on the back of the order win, when company has received 2 orders worth rupees 27.3 crore. One order is from the DRDO of rupees 5.7 crore, and another order is from the private company worth of rupees 21.6 crore. Glenmark Pharma is also in focus, where a company has launched the world's first nebulized fixed dose triple therapy for the treatment of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. On the back of CEO exit, Yatra Online is also in focus in today's trading session, where company CEO Dhruv Singhi has resigned, stating personal reason, and the resignation is effective from the 24th November 2025, and Siddhartha Gupta has been appointed as a new CEO from the 25th November. Sobha Limited is also in focus from the realty space, where as per reports, company has launched its first project in the Mumbai real estate market named Sobha Inzio. Acme Solar is also in focus, where Acme Solar has signed PPA with SCCI for 200 megawatt solar with battery storage project. And some of the OMC stock is also in focus on the back of the investor has downgraded the stocks. For HPCL, investor has downgraded the stock to sell from the hold rating with target price rupees 425, and for BPCL they have downgraded the stock to sell from the hold rating and with target price rupees 330, and for IOCL they have downgraded the stock with target price rupees 145. Lupin is also in focus on the back of a note, where Jefferies has come out with a note on Lupin, and they have maintained the buy rating with target price rupees 2,300. They say that the FY26 US revenue is expected to exceed USD 1 billion, which is driven by new launches including glucon and liraglutide, and India business is expected to outperform industry by 200 to 300 basis points. And lastly, Reliance Industry is also in focus on the back of brokerage note, where JP Morgan has come out with a note, and they have maintained their overweight rating and high target price rupees 1725 as compared to earlier target price rupees 1695. So back of this, Reliance Industry is also in focus, and the stock is up approximately 1%.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Rabinder. In fact, Reliance at the 52-week high, Kunal. What next for this one?
I think some distance away from 52-week high. Yeah, okay, 52-week high.
Yes.
But
because you have to exclude Jio from that, from the Reliance stock.
no, not
Anyway,
the all-time high. All-time high is 1610.
absolutely, exactly.
Yeah,
So 52-week high.
Yeah, 52-week high, but I think it's done reasonably well.
Okay.
It's been a silent performer. It's up, I think, around 13.5% in the last 2 months of this quarter. And prior to that, the stock was almost down 7-8%. So it was sub 1400 levels. Now it's at 1550 mark. And one of the prime reasons why the Nifty is finding its feet at this 26,000 mark, because it has support of these few very select large cap, heavyweight large cap names. Add to the fact you have L&T also displaying a admirable strength, I think at 4,000, 4,100 mark. Very good names, both Reliance as well as L&T, and I think Reliance specifically. I would aim for the stock to come back to new highs for itself. It could take some bit of more time because it's a very slow mover in terms of the price trends, and all of a sudden when you see a breakout happening for Reliance Industries, it gathers momentum. So we just need to wait for that breakout to happen for the stock. But yeah, life highs of 1600 plus could be due for the stock. Okay,
due. In fact, a life high of 1600 plus on a Reliance Industries. Kunal, the other one which is very close to a 52-week high with Nifty banking index is Federal Bank. It's done ever so well. We've seen a very strong rally, especially post the fundraise. What next for this one?
Yeah, it's been spectacular over the last 3 months. There's been a sea change in terms of the price trend for Federal Bank. 3 months back, the stock was sub 200. Now we are looking at the stock cruising at 250 plus mark. Third consecutive month where the stock has gained from the sub 200 levels to now 250 plus mark. This has been more like a dream run for Federal Bank, because I remember the stock hardly used to get into a zone where it goes into a 10%, 15% rally for consecutive months. But this could probably be the second better month for Federal Bank after the previous month where the stock moved from 190 to almost 230, 235 kind of a mark. So excellent stock in terms of chart as well as in terms of price momentum, and looks like that this momentum is here to sustain.
Interesting. So Federal Bank as well on that one. But Kunal, your picks for this afternoon?
So 2 buy calls. The first one which I would suggest would be Bajaj Auto. We discussed this and I recommend this in the morning. The stock apparently has done reasonably well on a day like today. And now I think at 9,150 plus mark, would look out for a higher target of 9,350. So traders who are looking at a fresh buy could look at a buy at current levels with a revised stop loss at 9,000. And the second would be a buy in Indostar. This could be a potential breakout candidate on the short to medium term charts. So stock taking support at a trend line base closer to 400 levels. So would look out for 440 as a positional target for Indostar and stop loss at 385.
Okay. So those are targets for you, and what we'll do is we'll also slip into a very short break. But on the other side, we'll also start taking a fundamental view. We'll have Dhananjay Sinha joining us. Stay with us here on ET Now.